Hello everybody and welcome back to my garage renovation part 2. So from where we left off, I did that entire back side and the right side of the garage. So here I am, I'm just kind of moving everything out of the garage, moving everything out of the way so that I can stack everything on the two walls that I already completed. So I got these two big industrial shelves that I'm gonna stack back there on that step up of the curb right here. So here I am. I'm just kind of cleaning up this floor, and there's a big crack between the garage floor and that step up right there. So I'm just kind of filling that in with some concrete caulking that I bought from Home Depot. So I'm just kind of filling that in, making it all level, and then I'm also gonna be painting this with that same garage paint as well. There it is right there. Because the shelving is a little bit wider than this step up curb up here, so I'm gonna be putting little like 2x4 pieces to support the shelves that's gonna be sticking out from there. So just kind of filling that in, painting that in, and yeah, from the last two walls, everything kind of collected a lot of dust, so kind of cleaning everything up while I go. So as you guys can see, yeah, right there, it's kind of a little bit wider, so I had to put those little 2x4 blocks underneath it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and move over the second shelf here, so that I can go ahead and start stacking everything on top of these shelves as much as I can, and then when I'm done with the garage, I'll be more organized with everything. So here I am, I'm gonna be doing, this is the laundry side, this is the left side of the garage now. So I'm kind of getting rid of these shelves that were here before. They were kind of stained from all the previous people that used to rent this house out. So I'm kind of removing that, and I kind of want to upgrade to some, I wouldn't say nicer shelves, but something that looks a lot better than that. Here's a little chest freezer, just kind of getting all that out of the way there. And I'm trying to leave everything connected too, because we're still gonna be using all this stuff. Because this isn't where I'm just come in and I just do everything in one day. All of this stuff kind of took me a couple of days to do, because I'd have to let so like some of the drywall mud to dry and stuff, or some days I just didn't have time to get to remodeling the garage. So as you will see throughout this video, I'm wearing different clothes and stuff. So so right here I'm kind of doing a different approach with what I did previously with that back wall and the side wall. I'm trying to catch everything in a bucket, because before I just let everything fall, and that created a pretty big mess. So I'm trying to catch as much as this stuff as I can, this popcorn, in that little bucket there. And this process took me a very long time. I mean, this was a good workout as well, because this took me about, I want to say 3-4 hours to scrape all this stuff off, because I had to constantly water it down with that little sprayer I got there, and then wait for it to soak in, and then I can scrape it all off. So trying to just work around all this stuff as best as I can. So here I am, I'm just kind of vacuuming everything up that kind of fell on the garage rails and stuff, and then here I'm cleaning everything up. I'm kind of a neat freak, so I'm always constantly cleaning everything up. I hate working when it's dusty and dirty, so making sure everything's clean. And then as you guys can see up there, that little corner, I'm guessing there used to be a water leak in the ceiling. So There's a little bit of water damage there, but I mean that leak doesn't leak anymore because they repaired the landlord repaired or replaced the roof. So I'm gonna have to repair that, patch that up. And the drywall wasn't really soft there as well, so it didn't need to be cut out or replaced or whatever. So I just kind of put a new piece of joint paper and compounded that in with some drywall compound or mud or whatever you want to call it. So I'm sanding everything down. This is the worst part, is sanding. I mean, this stuff just eats you up. I mean, it's a pretty tough process. So just lots and lots of sandings. I mean, I try not putting as much coats as I can, but I mean, I'm new to drywall. Like I said, this is my first time doing it. If you guys watched the first video, so I'm putting on a second coat here. And then this area right here, I don't know if you guys can see that, but the paper, yeah, right there, that joint right there, you can kind of see that paper is kind of sticking through. I put a whole bunch of coats on there, but I ended up just ripping off that joint paper, and I ended up instead going with the mesh tape. I figured that was a lot easier for me, because with the drywall paper you have to put the mud and then the paper and then mud it again, whereas the mesh, you just mesh right over and then mud it right here. So I was messing around with a baseboard, and then I noticed that the drywall was pretty soft here, and there was a little bit of water underneath the baseboard, and I ended up cutting this out, and the one of the joints where that copper piping's at was actually leaking. So the timing of me catching this was just perfect. So I ended up replacing the whole thing. I ended up putting a new washer box in there as well with these shark bite fittings. I love this stuff. This stuff is so easy to work with. And I ended up putting it behind the PVC there, because they used to have it on the other side, so the drywall was bulging out quite a bit here. I don't know why they didn't do that previously, but it's whatever. And then I ended up replacing the insulation as well, because it was, like I said, there was water damage behind there, so some of that insulation started molding. So I ended up replacing all that. As you guys can see, everything is nice tucked in there, and replaced it with some new stuff. So it's always nice having new plumbing and new things in there. Ended up putting up some drywall here. I was a little bit short on that one side, but it's all good. I'll just fill that in with some mud and So here I am, more sanding, stuff I love the most. Trying to get all those high spots out, because I put some pretty good coats of mud on here. So there's just a lot of sanding. Here I am cleaning up again, because I hate messes. And then I just ended up reusing the baseboard because it wasn't that damaged. So I just, and it was the nice baseboard too. It was the wooden one too. So I just ended up just cleaning it up, sanding it all down, reusing it, filled in all the holes with some caulking. And I'm getting ready to paint the ceiling here, so I'm painting all the corners. And another thing with the ceiling, which is a learning thing for me, was next time I should definitely use primer when especially on the ceiling, because whenever I'm using this roller, sometimes whenever I'm going over the areas where there is mud, that mud will tend to stick to the roller, so it'll like peel up kind of. So I was just being really light with the coats here, especially on this first coat, making sure not to peel up some of that mud. But yeah, next time, this was definitely a learning experience for me, so next time I'll definitely use some primer instead of just painting right over everything. So I ended up putting, I think, like 3 or 4 coats on this ceiling. The last coat was a pretty heavy coat, so. And then I'm now painting the wall here. And then I'm using that Sherwin-Williams brand paint, so the coverage was a lot better for me than the Behr brand that I used previously. First coat, like always, is always going to be see-through, but I ended up picking up a spray gun, an electric plug-in spray gun, and I used that thing, and that thing was awesome. That thing saved me a whole bunch of headache. As you guys can see, I'm kind of taping everything up, covering everything. So yeah, this thing was awesome. I mean, it took me like 15-20 minutes just to paint this entire wall. Instead of using a roller, the roller would have took me at least an hour or two. So this is the next day, so I'm here caulking, filling everything in, with all the holes and seams and stuff, making sure no bugs crawl inside. And I ended up finding a different leak too with this wall. So next to that water heater we have on the inside of our house, we have a chimney or a fireplace, and the chimney on top of the house is leaking, and it leaks underneath the baseboard there. So that's another upcoming project that I'm gonna have to do. So I'm kind of cleaning everything up, and I'm wiping everything down with some wax and grease remover, and putting on some of that garage paint, and then I'm coming back with that little bag of flakes and just kind of flaking it on there. I'm still debating whether I should put clear coat over this, because I just don't know how durable this paint is. Well, it's a Craftsman paint. They say it's specifically for garage floors and it'll last, but we'll see. If it starts chipping away, I'll put some clear coat on it. So here's the finished wall or section of this garage. Everything turned out really nice, and I'm really happy with how it all turned out. So definitely stay tuned for part 3, which will, I think, be the last part of this garage remodel. And I'll catch you guys next time.